Al Franken, hashtag you too. And that face doesn't help. Like, he clearly thinks it's funny in that moment. She's not in on the joke, she's asleep. And to be honest, like, even if there wasn't a woman in that picture, that poses its own crime. Like, if I saw Franken doing that in a supermarket, I'd be like, hey, leave that fruit alone. If I saw him in Italy, I'd be like, get away from that tower, you creep. You okay, Pisa? All right, man. So, Al, what do you have to say for yourself?
Franken released a statement reading in part, "I don't know what was in my head when I took that picture, and it doesn't matter. There's no excuse. I look at it now and I feel disgusted with myself. It isn't funny, it's completely inappropriate."
Well, you know what? At least he apologized, and that apology seems sincere. I just didn't like the accompanying photo. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, this story is another example of how, at all levels, we men have been complicit in perpetuating the culture that devalues women. I don't care who you are, Democrat, Republican, black, white, rich, poor. Men. Because you forget, it's not just Al Franken in the picture. It's the guy who's taking the picture. You know, his Billy Bush. Who's that guy? And now this story is bad on its own, but it's especially bad in the context of the week that we've been having, which until today was dominated by the man most wanted by mall cops, Roy Moore. The Alabama Senate candidate who is facing multiple allegations, including sexual harassment, sexual assault, and misconduct with underage girls. And every day, the list just keeps getting longer.
9 women have now come forward publicly with varying degrees of allegations against Roy Moore, ranging from inappropriate flirting to sexual assault.
Gina Richardson worked at the mall, and she says Moore hit on her, telling the Washington Post Moore called her at her high school. "Gina, this is Roy Moore." I was like, "What?" He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm in trig class."
That is the strangest conversation ever. Yeah, she's right to be like, what? That poor girl. And by the way, this was 1977. Don't forget that. There were no cell phones. Like, she probably got called to the principal's office to take this call. Yeah, they probably told her, they're like, hey, there's a call for you. And she was like, oh no, did my grandmother die? And they're like, no, it's Roy Moore. And she's like, oh man, I wish my grandmother died. Like, this guy was analog creeping in her DMs. Dude was probably faxing dick pics back in the day. And now, even with all these accusations, there is at least one person still out there fully defending Roy Moore. It's the person he pays to defend him, his lawyer, Trent Garman. And now remember, Roy Moore himself was a Chief Justice of the Alabama State Supreme Court. So when he hires a lawyer, it's not going to be some ambulance chaser with cable TV ads like, have you been hurt in a dog attack?
I'm Trent Garman. Have you been hurt in a dog attack?
That's his lawyer. Which is probably why this afternoon, Moore chose to speak for himself.
The other day we got a call from one big magazine that you all recognize if I say the name. I don't want to say it. But they got a call and said, asked me to step down from the campaign. Well, I want to tell you who needs to step down. That's right. Come on. That's Mitch McConnell. Come on.
Yeah! Woo! Get him, Roy! Woo! Now, you see, that's another way to do it. Yeah, Al Franken's going with the whole, I'm sorry, I'm gonna look at myself, I understand it's disgusting. That's so boring. This guy's like, you know who needs to step down for what I did? Someone else. Woo! That's living life. And I wish I could say that what Roy Moore is trying will never work, but it's already worked. Let's be honest, it's pretty much the Trump playbook, right? You blame your accusers, you claim sabotage, and then you on Mitch McConnell. That'll work forever. Like 2,000 years from now, alien politicians will be like, Mitch McConnell, pew pew, pew pew, pew pew, Aww.